Happy Wednesday. Um, Shout out to the girl at Chick-fil-A who knows my name. I don't know if that's a compliment. She didn't mean it as an insult, but personally, that clearly tells me I go to Chick-fil-A a lot. So, she kind of like knows my order and my name. Same thing happens to me at Starbucks. I'm like, it's nice when they like, oh, hey, Marquita, you want your usual? And I'm like, yeah. And then they just get on that. But then also I'm like, girl, you really go to these places a lot. So I am working. Well, kind of. I was working, and now I'm just kind of coasting. And I wanted to share a story time. And I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. So, recently I went out to dinner with we're kind of friends, but he's kind of my mentor in a lot of ways, like in business, because I've known him for a really long time. And so, we brainstorm, we have our little meeting of the minds, we talk about business opportunities, expanding nonprofits, things like that. And it's neither here nor there. So, every so often you kind of touch up on, like, catch up. Hey, how's it going? What have you been up to lately? How's, he knows I have a son. So, like, how's your son going? And I'll do, the same, because I know he has a couple of kids and he's like married or whatever. So just, how's the family? The last time we spoke, okay, so we haven't seen each other in a few months, but we still like call each other probably once every couple of weeks or something. Just, hey, I have a question. Hey, I'm working on a project. What do you think? I need your opinion. The last time we hung out, I got a weird vibe. The most recent time. The time before that, I got a weird vibe. I mean, he usually is like, hi, beautiful. How's everything going? And I'm like, I'm doing great. Oh, you're so sweet. And then we just kind of proceed into business talk and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's just a level of comfort we've reached, or if he has not a lot of people to talk to. So, we're having dinner and we're just talking. We're talking business. We're catching up. Trying to, talk about business and business motivations and things like that. And, over the course of the meal, the conversation, changes. And, he kind of lets me know that he like has seen like some of my social media pages and that he like watches them. He said the word stalk, right? So, and I'm trying to like really let it go, but since then there's been like a couple of phone calls and stuff where he's like, I come across your page or I'll stalk your page. It's starting to get I'm getting a little uncomfortable. And I did want to wait a little bit because I have had a conversation, so I feel better ish now. But this is the story time that we're in, so I was feeling a little uncomfortable. But I would just kind of minimize and dismiss it. Probably shit the old me would have done, which probably, and and then he even said like, I'm a little bit of a simp for your page. And I'm just like, old people trying to be young, whatever. And I'm just like, flattered, but, just dismissing it because it's never really been anything inappropriate or anything with us. So, and I'm really just trying to, it's okay if you find, you say I'm beautiful, or if based off of what you're saying, you think I'm attractive, and that's fine. Just, that's a weird line to teeter on. And, other than the him being a little bit more vocal lately, there really hasn't been anything other than, the one-off compliment every so often when we have dinner or whatever together. So, he tells me a little bit last time we had dinner, a few months ago, like 2-3 months ago, before we just reconnected and had dinner a week or so ago, that, he has issues in his marriage, yada, 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 yada. Things have changed, yada, yada. He's like 60-ish, 60 plus. And he's harmless. And, as a friend, that's perfectly fine if you tell me, certain things like that and whatnot. And again, I dismissed it and whatnot. And this is a lesson. I'm trying to tell you because I'm coming to the lesson I learned. And that was fine. And mind you, he'll say stuff like that, and then, like I said, he's mentioned like, oh, you're attractive. I've watched your page. I just, scrolled down, and he just likes how feminine and pretty I am, or you've got something or whatever. And I know that he enjoys my company. I know that he likes that I sit there and, I listen to him, and he feels appreciated. I mean, but I do appreciate him in terms of business and, our working relationship, our business relationship, and things like that. And, so, slowly but surely that was fine. And I would like literally just constantly like kind of minimize it and dismiss it. And this is why I kind of had to wait a little bit before I, had this conversation with you guys, because the last time we had dinner, he knows what's going on with me in business. And like, I've been taking on more projects. I've been busier. He's kind of heard me deal with business, like while I'm on site, dealing with employees, dealing with other contractors, and things of that matter. So we have dinner, and for the first time in a while, I literally just wear pants and a shirt, and I probably, lipstick and stuff like that. But I was, I was tired, and that's neither here nor there. I never look, inappropriate. I never, put myself in anything that's like cleavage or short or anything like that. But since we would have dinner out, I would always put on like maybe a nice dress or something like that, something very modest and conservative, but it does look nice on me. So, and I think he appreciated, an older man who probably doesn't, have a lot of company. I don't really know what his life is like. I know he appreciated, me, the presentation of me. So the last time we went out, I'm actually just wearing regular clothes, and that's neither here nor there. But he does mention that he watches me online, and he asked me about since we've talked about how's everything going in your personal with your son and with this and with that. He asked me like, how is like my dating life or romantic life, because he knows like that me and my son's father are not together. And I'm just, and I talk to him, and, I'm outside. I be outside minding my business, y'all. I be outside, and stuff like that. And he did mention the last time, like 2-3 months ago, that, he was having issues in his own marriage. And then over the course of us talking for the past 2 or 3 months before we were able to get together and have dinner again, he, that he had, I guess, come to terms with the fact that he was going to divorce his wife. And I can't say anything on that. That is a very personal choice, and I don't know his wife. I'm not going to advocate for him, and I'm not going to advocate for her. I'm just here to listen, because I think you just sound like you need someone that you want to talk to about it. The part where this really like warning bells, red flags, uncomfortable was, and I didn't even catch the trap that I might have been like verbally walking into, was when he, asked me about like my personal life or my dating life. And it's neither here nor there, because it's not really a secret, but nobody really knows, because like I don't talk about the details of what I be doing outside. But and because I have like a real business, and it is very consuming, and I'm a full-time mom. I'm not like a sometimes mom. I'm not a mom who constantly give their kids to like the grandparents either. I'm very hands-on. I'm like 100% with my business, and I'm 100% with my kids. So that takes up like 98% of my life and my time, and the last little bit I have, the last 2%, I'll give to myself, and then the last little slither is what I can give to someone else right now, because business is growing, and I don't want to miss any part of my son's life either, and I don't want to sacrifice my business for my son. So I have to juggle that very I just have to be very careful about how I toe that line. He says to me, that he would like me to consider, he knows that I have options, of course. He would like me to consider him as an option. It's not funny. It's not the age thing necessarily. My relationship with him, if I went to the bathroom, not immediately, what I let him know is that I am open to dating at this point in my life. But I've already been through a situation. You need to be divorced before you even, I think, make that kind of offer. Or I don't even know if that's an offer, because you're not in a position to even make an offer. And you should probably be divorced before you ask anyone to consider you. I think you should focus on that part. I like that you like my company. I like that how I'm told you feel when you're around me. And this is really no thing that I'm like bragging about necessarily. I mean, I do take a lot of pride in how I make other people feel, because there is this thing I've noticed that, and he reminded me of someone else who said something similar. My energy makes people feel good. It makes them like light up. I feel like if I have to think about how to describe myself in these situations, I'm like an Energizer bunny. And I'm like this battery that charges people up. They like feel great when they're around me. It's like getting that energy from the sun when the sun finally comes out and you step outside and it's on your face and you absorb it, and then you have like, it brings you back, lifts you up and gives you what you need. The problem with that, and I don't mind that, I love being that for people. The thing with that is, based off of the lessons I've learned in life, is that as your friend, I don't mind giving you some of that light. And even when it comes to my partnerships with people or my relationships, I really don't mind. I don't like some of the experiences I've had with people who have described me in a way that was similar to that, though. Because the people the ones who have actually verbalized it have always been people who turned out to want something from me romantically, and have given me probably some fucking trauma at this point in return. And it doesn't make me resent or feel bad about what I have to offer, but it really is very triggering, because I don't ever want to be in a position again where someone is telling me like, I love your energy. I feel your energy. I need some of that energy. I love how I feel. You just bring me to life and stuff like that around me. And these are people in full-blown relationships who want something from me and have nothing to offer me. You want to get some of my energy to go home and get through your shitty life that you've created based off of your shitty decisions that you may or may not leave. And I have what? Like, I have given, when I'm very conscious of it, and a lot of times it's done under some false pretenses in my personal experience. It is unfortunately, more than, not just this time, it has reminded me of a time where a married man has came on to me in that way. And you need that from me so you can go home and be okay with your miserable life and your miserable wife that you have chosen. And this is really no shade to the wife. It is about the man and his character. So it really, not only was this inappropriate and it made me uncomfortable, it I immediately, and he may not, I was insulted. And he doesn't know why to the level I was insulted, but it's still insulting. And I don't think you are also in a position as someone who is still married, and I don't care what the nature of that is, because as far as I know, you still are living in the same house as your wife, and no divorce papers have been drawn up, but want me to consider you as an option. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, yes, I like our working relationship. Yes, I have a lot of appreciation, adoration, and respect for you, but that's in a professional sense, and it can very easily change, which it will. The reason why I needed to wait before I had this conversation is because I respect this man. And that is so, and I'm like, I don't want to lose that part of our relationship. So I had to kind of wait, go home. I had to process a lot of that information, and I had to get my big girl, helmet on and underwear on, and I had to have that conversation. I respect you. I like what we have now, and this is all I want. And I'm really glad, and that maybe that's an age thing, or with certain men. Some men will take it and some men won't. And I didn't elaborate on why and what the fuck the trauma comes from and all of this, that, and the other. That's between me and Kimberly, my therapist. But I'm really happy that I had that conversation and I salvaged our relationship. And I'm not going to mention his name, obviously. And that is what it is. So, and we can still now have those business dinners. We can still talk about, all of these things. And I mean, I could probably give a lot more detail and stuff like that about some of the things that I was like, red flag, excuse me. But that's neither here nor there. As a friend, I'm okay with you entrusting me with a certain level of communication about, even as it pertains to your personal life, but I'm not crossing that line into a romantic space, and I'm certainly not blurring that lines, since to a certain level we don't do direct business with each other, but we do work in a field where we could cross paths. And it's one thing to have a good relationship and with someone professionally, but I won't mess up or jeopardize that, or have any like tiny thing where someone can say like, hey, he's interested in her in that way, and that's why she gets opportunities or something. Because my business, he works with a company, and we really don't cross paths, but he works with a company in a different space, in a different level, in the corporate office of a business that my company does business with. Even though I'm not hired as an employee, I'm a subcontractor or contracted out or things like that. But that's neither here nor there. And that's not even how we started our friendship, because we've known each other for many years, since I did property management years ago. So that's kind of what it is. And I mean, I have a million things more to say, but like I said, I had that conversation. I'm really proud of myself. I probably should have said something sooner, when I realized a few months ago that he was just being he wasn't 100% inappropriate. He just started being a little bit more vocal about what was going on. And I chose to dismiss it or whatnot. And I really can't make that mistake again in the future. And a lot of women do. But it's okay, because it didn't cross any line. It wasn't too late. And, I kind of went in from an aspect of, and this is genuine, that I respect you. And that's just, I won't cross that line. I like what we have now, and I don't think that's appropriate for me or for my business. And he took that on the chin. I think that's a sign of an evolved man, and or who knows, maybe he's still plotting, but I'm definitely on alert. I'm still watching. We're so far it seems like we're both on the same page, and he took that. So that's great. I probably won't talk so much about like my personal dating life with him, because that's now off the table. But I'll still talk about, my son's baseball games and in business, of course. But that was my story time. I really don't know what the point of it was. don't be afraid to speak up and let people down, women out there. And I mean, I think I handled myself really well. And I mean, if anybody has any additional information or advice, if you think I didn't handle myself well, I mean, there are other things that I'm like I said, could have been red flags that I didn't pay attention to. And I'm just glad it didn't end up anywhere near the old situation that I ended up in. So somebody said once that some people create the frequency and some people try to imitate the frequency. Or some people create the frequency, some people try to imitate the frequency, and some people just try to some people just observe the frequency. And you really have to be able to take it, you have to be able to see the difference. And there's pros and cons of all of those. I wouldn't say this guy is a taker, but the givers, the ones who unconsciously give this off into the world, like myself, and I'm becoming more conscious of it, have to be careful of people who need to absorb that power and energy and that light and that fuel to go back to their life. Like, we are the ones who are in charge of who gets it and who doesn't. And you're not going to take it from me to give to whatever misery you have selected for yourself. And I get nothing, because I've gone through that and I'm in therapy because now I have fucking trauma because of it. But the good thing is, you can't steal my vibe. You can't steal my frequency. You don't get to steal my juice. You don't get to steal off my battery, whatever the hell you want to call it. And we're good. So story time. Find the lesson in that. Speak up. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. And you'll never lose real respect if you speak up for yourself, if the person is legit. So have a great day. Bye.